Welcome back, guys, to the hardcore run of Final Fantasy I for the NES. We are now getting ready to make our way even deeper into the Earth Cave. The next enemy that we're going to be fighting is the Lich, the next big enemy, which will be our first of the 4 elemental fiends. But Lich shouldn't pose like a threat at all. He'll be pretty easy to take down, I think, because we have Fire 3, 2 Fire 3s, a Harm 3, and, well, whatever damage the Thief will do. Whatever the case, so between the 2 Fire 3s and the 1 Harm 3, we should take out Lich first turn no problem. That doesn't mean that he can't hit pretty hard, but I highly doubt that he'll manage to kill any of our warriors before we end up killing him. So I don't think that he'll be any problem. Got some green ogres here, some grogers. We'll just run from them. Yeah, for the most part I'm just going to kind of be avoiding enemies, and hopefully some of these bats as I make my way to Lich. We still have a little bit of treasures left to collect here in the Earth Cave, but I'm not even going to bother collecting them, because like I said earlier, it's not really worth it. The enemies that appear on the floors that the treasure is on are too dangerous for us to really worry about the treasure. Stuff like cockatrices and stuff like that can kill our party members, and we don't want that to happen. Just about off the 2nd floor. Once we get to the 3rd floor, we have to go past the vampire's room, and then there will be a stone plate on the floor. Then we have to use the rod to destroy the plate, and then we can go down deeper. Which there's only another 2 floors to the Earth Cave. The last floor is fairly short. The second to last floor, the one after the one that we're on right now, can be kind of a big maze though. Still not too bad if you know the path. Kinda cracks me up that one of the chests on the next floor actually contains a wooden staff. Really? A wooden staff? That's still not as bad as one of the treasure chests that's in the Ice Cave. Not to mention, this treasure chest is guarded by a spiked square that has a group of mages attack you. And inside of the treasure chest is a cloth. A cloth, for crying out loud. The very first piece of armor that you can get for your mages is guarded by a team of, well, mages, Dark Elf mages. And mages, the Dark Elf mages, always get first strike at least like 90% of the time, it seems. And they use spells like rub and stuff like that, so you got really powerful enemies for this point in the game guarding a cloth. I don't know why they did that. It's just kind of it's kind of mean of the makers of this game to set you up like that. That's alright though. Once you know that a cloth is in that chest, you can just avoid it. Although usually whenever I'm playing a normal run of Final Fantasy, I'll end up coming back to the Ice Cave later on in the game, after I've gotten pro rings and ribbons and I can handle all the spells. At that point, I'll usually get the cloth and just sell it, even though it's only worth like 2 gold whenever you sell it. It just bugs me to leave a chest with treasure in them. I have to get all the treasures and stuff. But still, in this particular run, I'm not even going to let that bother me. It's not worth it to try to get a cloth and risk our lives. Whatever the case, so we have one last green ogre here. Let's take out this ogre. I think of all the ogres, my favorite's probably the wizard ogre. I just like magical type enemies and classes and stuff like that. Okay, we're not too much further from the room with the vampire. There's actually a room that you can go into on this floor that has earth elemental enemies at every single step, and that's the very northwestern room. I find it kind of odd that the player's guide that you can get for Final Fantasy I actually doesn't tell you that. Still, it's kind of interesting. At least they note that this cave has the Hall of Giants in it. Which, to be honest, I've never actually used the Hall of Giants to level up my warriors or anything. I usually stick to the spiked squares in the Northwest Castle that have mummies and ghost-type enemies. Or I'll just level up on the enemies outside of Melmon near the end. Either way, that's how I usually level up my warriors if I need to level them up at all. But to be honest, I usually don't need to level them up at all, because I'm usually more than leveled up from earlier in the game whenever I got spells for the Marsh Cave and stuff like that. Whatever though. Second to last floor now. This floor is the one with the big maze that I spoke of earlier. Gotta go down here, then head to the left and then back up. Oh boy, got some wizards. Oh well, they're not too bad at this point. We can take them out with a lightning 3, no problem. Once my black mage gets his attack off anyway. They can still hit pretty hard, I suppose, but still. Not nearly as threatening as they were earlier in the game whenever they were protecting the crown anyway. Lightning 3's doing a good job. As to be expected, of course. Most powerful lightning spell and whatnot. Okay, let's keep making our way through this floor. Go ahead and heal up really quick. Use our level 1 cures. Which, like I said earlier, as you get to this point in the game, your level 1 magic really isn't anything too terribly special anymore. So I like to try to use those cure spells before heal potions. You'll see a lot of random encounter enemies on this floor that you've seen on the 3rd floor. Stuff like undead enemies that can paralyze you, wizards, cockatrices, stuff like that. You'll see some trolls here and there. We may as well kill this troll. They're not too hard. They're weak to fire spells. Alright, let's see if this is the last hit, and it wasn't. That's alright though. We'll finish off this troll and keep making our way through the rest of the cave. Well, Onyx just showed that level 1 magic can still be useful at this point in the game. Just destroyed that troll with a level 1 fire. Not too bad. Kinda crazy that level 1 magics still do more damage than the Black Mage's knives usually do. But that's what Black Mages are all about, I suppose. Sometimes I can't decide whether I like Summoners or Black Mages more. I think if I had to pick, though, I would definitely like Black Mages more. I just like the 4-colored mages a lot. Red, white, black, and blue mages. Which again makes me kind of sad that blue mages weren't around in Final Fantasy I. I suppose it might have been kind of difficult to program in learning enemy spells on the NES. Who knows, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. We're on the last floor of the Earth Cave here, and that was a nice hit from Hope. Took out that troll. Alright, just go up, over, and down. We'll be at Lich. And like I said earlier, Lich will go down really, really easy. I'm very sure of it. Like I said, we have 2 fire 3s and a harm 3, and then whatever damage Hope does. Although, to be honest, I don't think Hope will have much say in this fight. He'll probably do very little bit of damage with his physical attacks. He might surprise us, though. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I kind of hope that he makes it through class change, because I really like the ninjas. Although their black magic that they can learn isn't too terribly useful later on in the game. It is nice to have another character that can use fast, though. That's always good. Alright, just about to Lich. Right, here we go. We need to heal up really quick before we fight him. Again, we'll use all of our Cure 1 spells before we use heal potions. Okay. Alright, we'll go ahead and use a Cure 2. Time to fight Lich. I don't think that Lich will be able to make it more than 1 round. If he does make it more than 1 round, then I'll be really surprised. Alright, 2 fire 3s, a harm 3, and a physical attack. He has 400 HP total. We've already knocked out over half of it. That was kind of low damage for fire 3 in my opinion. See what this one does. That's more like it. Lich didn't even get a hit off. I kind of expected that though. And well, with that said and done, we now have the Earth Orb lit up. Okay, next stop is Crescent Lake. Before we go to Crescent Lake though, we're going to make a quick stop by Melmond. We're going to stop by there real quick and heal up. One thing that I find kind of interesting about Melmond is that in the little booklet and everything that tells you about the different towns and stuff, they say that the vampire attacked Melmond and destroyed everything, including the clinic. However, Melmond also doesn't have an item shop, so I'm wondering if maybe they just forgot to program in an item shop, or if the vampire supposedly destroyed that as well. Always kind of wondered about that. Got us a random encounter here from some Grey Wolves. That's not worth it in my opinion. We'll just run away. We'll make a quick stop by Melmond to heal up, and then we'll sail out west to Crescent Lake. Actually, according to the world map, Crescent Lake is to the east of here, but it's much, much quicker to go west because it'll loop you around to the east side of the map. We're as far west as we can go, pretty much. Okay, the inn is right here. Melmond's all torn up and everything. See all the tombstones all over the place. The clinic is to the east of here. There's also a dwarf in this town who says that he's here investigating. No need for further investigation there, Dwarfy. We took out the problem. I always thought that it would have been kind of neat if you could have seen like a change in the terrain after you've recovered the power of the Earth Orb. like how you see it being a big swamp area before you recover the power of the orb. I think that would have been kind of cool if after you brought light back to it, if whenever you left the Earth Cave you would have seen like a big forest there now or something like that. I guess that would have been kind of hard for them to program in. Again, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff, but it still would have been kind of neat. Not that big of a deal though. We're not too much further from Crescent Lake. We just gotta sail just a little bit more to the west. Then we'll be on the east side of the map. Okay. Should be lined up right with the dock, and we are. Alright, there we go. Just go down to the left, and we're at Crescent Lake. At Crescent Lake, if any of your warriors can equip silver equipment, you can buy it here. I always buy everything that I can from Crescent Lake before entering the Earth Cave, just to be ahead of the game, I suppose. Doing that also makes you kind of over-leveled, though, I suppose. Like I said, though, you can buy all sorts of silver equipment as well as level 6 magics. If you plan on buying level 6 magic, though, you better bring along quite a bit of money, because each of the level 6 spells goes for 20,000 gold each. So yeah, they are very expensive, especially if you have a ton of mages. Although the red mage can't equip any level 6 magic right now. Your white and black mages can, and that'll take quite a bit of your money. We'll be coming back for the exit spell later on. Just run from these peeds for now. Okay. I kinda like the way all the houses look on the overworld for Crescent Lake. Okay. Go ahead and heal up here at the end really quick, and then we'll make our way to the Circle of Sages. Why the Circle of Sages have secluded themselves in the woods, I don't know, but still. I always thought that the Circle of Sages looked kinda cool, just that big circle that they're in. Lukon, or whatever his name is, the sage that predicted that the Light Warriors would come, has joined the Circle of Sages here. I remember the player's guide said that you talk to him in order to get the canoe, but you don't actually talk to him. He's the sage that's above, the one that gives you the canoe, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or he's the one to the left of him. I can't quite remember. I never talk to the characters that I don't actually have to talk to because I already know everything to do in the game. So it's not important to really talk to the non-playable characters for me anyway. From here you've got 3 options for what you can do now. You can either go to the volcano and take out the Fiend of Fire, which is what the game tells you to do next. If you don't want to do that, you can also sail up north to the Castle of Ordeals and get the Rat's Tail so you can be ahead of the game for Class Change if you'd like. Or you can go straight to the Ice Cave and get the floater for the airship. For now, though, we're just going to go ahead and go to the volcano and take out the Fiend of Earth. I'm going to go ahead and do that now since I already have all 4 warriors. I'm afraid that if I take out the Ice Cave right now, I might lose a couple of warriors, and that'll make the Fire Fiend even more difficult for me. So I'd like to go ahead and take out the Fire Fiend while we have all 4 warriors. Just have to paddle our way through the big maze of a river here. We have plenty of magic to use, so I'll just go ahead and fry up some fish for later on. Cook that whenever we use our next tent. Have dinner overnight or something, I guess. Although I don't know if I'd want to eat these fish with those big red eyes. Demon fish. I guess it is kind of overkill for me to use Lightning 3 to take all these enemies out. That's alright though. I'll be using a house before I enter the volcano, so I'm not too worried about saving my magic right now. Alright, let's just keep on moving. We can also be encountered with some stronger enemies throughout the river. Some Ochos and especially the Hydras can hit pretty hard. Just gotta keep following the path here. Alright, we have found a Hydra. Hydra didn't hit quite as hard as I thought it would. Still hits a bit harder than most other enemies throughout the river though. Kinda like the little background image that you see at the top of the screen for the river. Makes it look more like we're in a swampy type area. Alright. This Hydra doesn't have too much left in it. For the most part, as we're traveling through the volcano, I'm not going to be worrying about treasure hunting or anything like that. However, there is at least one treasure that I want to stop and pick up, and that's the Ice Sword. We'll get to that whenever we get to that. For now, let's just keep on making our way through the river. Just got to go straight to the left from here and down. the volcano is just across this little tiny river, as soon as we get off the one that we're in right now. I think of all the dungeons that you have to go through in Final Fantasy I, the volcano is probably my favorite one. I just like the way how it looks in the volcano. Probably my favorite thing about it is actually the lava that's on the ground that can hurt you. It's a nice little effect of being in a volcano, and you can't get random encountered whenever you're walking on the lava. So if you take the right path, you can pretty much get to Carrie really quickly. So that's what I'm pretty much going to be doing, is intentionally walking on all the lava that I can. That way I can avoid random encounters and stuff like that. Alright, over here, down, and now we are at the volcano. Time to heal up, and then we will go ahead and enter. As soon as we get out of this little random encounter here. Of course, we had to get into a random encounter one step away from the volcano. Like I said earlier, though, these wolves aren't going to be worth my time, so there we go. Okay, time to use a house. There we go. Got all of our magic and everything back. And just like I said earlier, I'm going to be intentionally walking on all the lava to avoid all the random encounters that I can. And again, just like I said earlier, I'm only going to be going after one piece of treasure, and that'll be the Ice Sword. We still have a few floors to go through before I'll get to the Ice Sword, though. I'd actually recommend always taking on the volcano by walking on the lava. I know the player's guide tells you to avoid it, but I'd say to just walk on it, because you only take 1 HP of damage per step on the lava, whereas you'll probably lose just as much of that from random encounters. So if you want to avoid random encounters, then by all means walk on the lava. Just make sure that you bring plenty of healing magic or heal potions, because you will need them as you go through this volcano, again, because the floors that have lava on them. This is one of my favorite floors. It's loaded with lava. Just gotta go over here, then down, then we'll be at the next floor. Some of these floors are great big mazes, like this one right here. If you know the path, though, then this floor is really short. Just down, left, pretty much. Let's go ahead and heal us up really quickly. There we go. Don't mean to keep clicking the rod back there. The Fiend of Fire can actually hit pretty hard with her physical attacks. So yeah, I want to try to keep our team up as high as I can in our HP. And unfortunately, and as strange as it is, the Fiend of Fire is not weak to ice spells. You'd think she would be, you know, being the Fiend of Fire and everything, but nope. Ice spells will do just as much damage as fire spells and lightning spells do on her. Kinda strange, so pretty much whenever you fight her, just use whatever your strongest spell is. There we go, ran from that worm. I didn't feel like that worm was really worth our time. Okay, up here we go. Going up this direction, you can get the Ice Sword that I spoke of. It's in the middle chest of these three over here. The Ice Sword is actually in a linked treasure chest on this floor, so you can get it in a room off to the right as well, but I think that's quicker to go to the room that we were just in. Either way, it doesn't matter, we got the Ice Sword. And just keep on making our way throughout this floor here. The next floor will be the final floor of the volcano here. I'm not quite sure if you can run from the red giants or not. You might be able to, I'm not quite sure, just in case, so I don't want to waste my time trying to run away and failing, so we'll just go ahead and kill off the red giant. Strangely enough, I don't think that the red giant actually has any kind of fire spells or anything that he can use on you. He's pretty much just a stronger version of the regular giants that we fought earlier. So he's nothing too terrifying or anything. Okay. Pretty good gold, 1,500 something, I believe it was what it was. Alright, go down from here. Head to the right, then down and left, and then, well, we're now done with this floor. Next floor is fairly short. You can get the flame armor on it if you want to. If the ninja manages to, or the thief manages to make it to class change to become a ninja, I'll probably come back here and get the flame armor. We'll see what happens, though. Got another red giant battle here. Again, I'm not quite sure if I can run from them, so I'm not going to waste time finding out either. The red giant should go down fairly easily. We are right next to the room with Carrie, the Fiend of Fire anyway, so we don't have very much left to the volcano. I always thought that the background image up at the top of the screen right now kind of looked weird. I think it's supposed to be lava. Not quite sure. Whatever the case, though, just keep making our way to Carrie right after we heal up. Since we're so close, we'll want to go ahead and put ourselves at full health. Like I said, the Fiend of Fire can hit you pretty hard, so yeah, you'll want to have your HP up pretty high. I'd recommend maxing it out. And on top of having high physical power, the Fiend of Fire can also use stuff like Fire 2 on the team. So yeah, I think it'd be best if you had your White Mage go ahead and cast Anti-Fire to help out. We'll go ahead and use Fast on the Red Mage, make his Ice Sword do even more damage. There we go. Okay, she's starting off with Fire 2, the Fiend of Fire is. It's a shame we couldn't have got Anti-Fire off in time. We might still be okay. After this round, I'll probably use Heal 2 to bring the team back up to pretty good health. If the Fiend of Fire happens to use Fire 2 again, it won't do anywhere near as much damage. How much damage are we doing? That was okay, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and use Heal 2. There we go. And may as well just fast up the Thief, I suppose. Like I said earlier, the Fiend of Fire really isn't weak to ice, so just have your Black Mage do whatever, whether it's making your physical warriors more powerful or hitting Carrie with his strongest magics. Okay, our Red Mage is about to die. I think I'm going to have the Black Mage try and stun Carrie. Okay, let's go ahead and try to heal back up Hat. The outcome of Hat officially rides on your shoulders, Onyx. Alright, sweet. Good job, Black Mage Onyx. We got Carrie all paralyzed. Ha 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 ha. Paralyzing enemies is actually quite effective. They stay paralyzed for quite some time, usually anyway. Although I usually don't worry too much about paralyzing enemies. In some cases it really helps out, like what you just seen. Alright, Carrie's now down and out. I'm glad that we didn't lose any warriors in that. We just about lost our Red Mage. I would have been sad to have seen him go. We'll go ahead and use a cabin really quick to heal ourselves. Okay, we'll use whatever level 1 cures we have. I'm not going to worry too much about any kind of random encounters on the way back to Crescent Lake. Right now I'm not interested in that. I'm more interested in getting back to Crescent Lake so that I can get fully healed at the end. And oh boy, I'm not looking forward to where we gotta go next. We have to go to the Ice Cave next. Well, actually, we can go to the Castle of Wardiel next, but either way, both of those places have enemies that can kill you in one hit. We may as well go ahead and get the Ice Cave out of the way, since that's the place where you're supposed to go first anyway. But I am not looking forward to that cave. So many enemies that can kill you in one hit there. Hopefully we'll make it through without losing any warriors, but I bet you more than anything we'll lose at least one. We might even lose 2 or 3. I certainly hope we wouldn't lose all 4 of them. We're just about back to Crescent Lake. Just right over here to the east. Got an Ocho and a Hydra here. Ochos can not paralyze you, but poison you if they hit you. So try to avoid that. Alright. We are now back at Crescent Lake. I need to heal up here. As soon as we escape the battle against the Pede, even though it's just one of them, we don't really need to waste our time with them. Alright, we are now back at Crescent Lake. Go ahead and go in here and use the inn really quick. Alright, there we go. Back to full HP and MP. Sweet. Like I said, I am really glad we managed to take out the first 2 fiends without losing any warriors. And like I said, I'm also really not looking forward to the Ice Cave coming up. Oh boy. And well, join me next time whenever we take out the Ice Cave and the Castle of Ordeals and get our warriors promoted through class change. And well, that is it for part 3.